Okay, today's project, we got this arcade cabinet of mine. It's an all-time favourite, as you've seen by some of my videos in the arcade section. Now, the problem with this is the controllers are gone. That's a Jamma pack. It works, hang on, off this Jamma connector. I'm going to trace all the wires and eradicate most of them. Because I'm switching to an Ipac, I'm going to take the transformer out as well, because that's for the old CRT monitor and power conversion and all that sort of stuff. However, the transformer will get a chance to stay because it's got a few different voltages on it. So I've got to trace all the wiring off the coin mech and all that sort of stuff, keep what I need and get rid of everything I can. The Ipac will then be mounted in here as opposed to a J-Pac down there and all this wiring crap here. And it should be one connector back to the PC. I have the Ipac in the jukebox, and it's about a year old, this one, so I will be removing the Ipac from this jukebox to put in the other arcade machine. And the new one that I get this week will go back in here. By the way, my third D, this is an original Gottlieb board. It was made for the amusement industry. Obviously, you plugged it into that connector I just showed you, and through these dip switches you could regulate supply of parts for these kind of projects and machines. Is a guy called Chris, and he runs a website called OzStick, and I'll put a link in the description. Plenty of advice from this guy. He's always willing to help out the best he can. So don't forget, check it out, www.ozstick.com.au. Let's go strip some wiring out. Okay, required tools for this job. You're going to need a soldering iron, wire strippers, flat bladed tiny electrical screwdriver, 2 Phillips head electrical insulated screwdrivers, 1 large Phillips head, insulated pliers, and some snips to cut off the existing ties. I am cutting into a 240 volt system, so I'm going to be very careful how I do it. If you don't know what you're doing, I don't recommend you do this. First thing I'm going to do is extract the J-Pac. So that's one. So we got the transformer pack out. No, it doesn't seem like much really. You know, it's this is an industrial transformer pack for an arcade machine. Quite old, but very functional, and it's still working. So you got your different voltages coming out of this plug, you know, that are coming out of this transformer. If you have a look, wired it around, you can basically do a trace, see what's going on. You know, there's some really good quality stuff going on here. Now, it's too good to get rid of, so this is going to go back in the arcade machine for the simple reason it's fused. You know, you can't blow things up with this thing, you know. You got an isolation button here, and that's how they obviously turned the direct power off. This connector here is for the electrical output for the arcade light in the marquee. You know, you got your 5 volts at 15 amps, 5 volts at 1 amp, 12 volts at 3 amps, and you got 220 outputs as well. You know, it's just too good to throw away. All I need to do is keep the power to the coin mechanism. That's all this is going to power up, the coin mechanism. If I was to have the arcade buttons lit up and stuff like that, I could run it off the rail and you know, work it out. That's fine. I got the J-Pac out. This is the old J-Pac. Well, this is at least 10 years old, this unit here. It's been a very good unit, but you know, like I said, time to upgrade the technology, and I will put the new Ipac in, and that way I get rid of the Jamma Harness. And so I've done the pinout check here. Now, there's 2 outputs on this transformer. This is for the high voltage stuff. You're talking 120 and 240 volts. So this lead here, which you know, you have a look at it, the way the pinout is, was set on the 120 volt for the monitor. This actually powered the chassis on the monitor up, and that's what drove that. So this is all your low voltage output. It still does have there's a 12 volt line in here, which is the most powerful. So that's exactly how the connector sits here. I don't need any of this. I just wanted to find out what these wires were. So if you have a look at the map, these 2 are earth points. These 2 are plus 5 volt 12 amp, and this is minus 5 volt 1 amp, and this is plus 12 volt 2 amp. So I'm only going to need, I'll say, this point here. This is all I want, and that's just to power the coin mech up, and that's it. So the rest can be eradicated, so that's great. So I'll have a decent power supply in there with the capability of outputting 240 volts at any given time I need. So back to it, let's start stripping it out. Okay, so this is the coin mech that came with the arcade machine, and I couldn't get a low heat emitting globe, so I put an LED in there. I'll resolder that joint properly. But yeah, this is the original coin mechanism that came with it. And yeah, let's take a look at the triple credit PCB. So I'm actually going to keep this. I'm actually going to put it in. I don't care if it doesn't display anything on the screen. I really don't care. I want the coin mechanism to work. It is a fully functional coin mechanism, so that's a great thing. So I will actually keep this, reset the dip switches to what they're supposed to be, and we'll have a fully functioning coin mechanism on the arcade machine. Basically, this is a Jamma connector. Now, for those of you who aren't in the know, a bit of useless information. Jamma stands for Japanese Amusement Machine Manufacturers Association, and now what that created was an association where everyone manufactured to a standard. So everyone who manufactured arcade machines would put one of these connectors in, and they knew that the boards, these pins are all significant to the controls and to the power. However, these days, unless you're you know, you've got a Jamma machine and you're putting Jamma boards in it, you don't need one of these. You can just go straight with the Ipac and wipe out all this stuff. Now, I need to keep these wires, this loom, part of the loom or the harness, for the coin mechanism down there. Okay, the easiest way to trace it is I've used a wire stripper to actually spread the wires a bit, and I put one probe of my multimeter here and one probe up to the Jamma pack and see where they earth out. And then what you can do is you go onto the internet, it's freely available, the information, you look at the Jamma pinout and it will tell you exactly what these pins do and what these wires are connected to. One will be to, what we'll just say, positive and negative, and the other one will be to a coin 1, coin 2. It's as simple as that. Okay, this was the lead that comes out of that beautiful transformer that came with the machine, so I'm going to keep that because it's got a 12 volt lead coming out, which one of these, well, two of these wires will be relegated back to the ground and the 12 volt line, and that'll get the coin mechanism working again, and I'll be able to use that 3 coin PCB. That will be the only remaining part of the Jamma harness that's left here. That shelf that you can see there, I don't know if you can see it, but we're going to go at the back of the cabinet in a minute because I'm going to take that shelf out because that shelf is what the chassis used to sit on. So I'm going to remove that. It'll just give me more room inside the cabinet as well. So we're just going to do that now. Yeah, couldn't take the shelf off because it was obviously glued down, and it makes sense why they glue them down. You imagine a arcade chassis bolted to this thing, any screws popping up would probably earth it out. I'll rebolt the transformer in down here, a couple of nails to remove, and that should be all good. So we got the power going, nothing connected to it except for the marquee light, we just connected at the back, and here is the original hole for the transformer. So I'm moving it back to here, probably 1.5 to 2 inches. Okay, so we've got our arcade machine completely gutted, so all the wires sorted out, we've got power running to it, it's lighting up the marquee light. So now we're going to take the control panel off and sort out the wiring behind there. And don't forget, if you need any of these parts, www.ozstick.com.au, guy called Chris, he'll help you out there. Okay, I've unscrewed the top of the control panel, and just to show someone I was mentioning this to, the thickness of the steel plate, as you can see, that's how mine's set up. So I'll just remove this, and basically that's my control panel, how it is. So what I'll do is I'll just lean it over like this. It doesn't really matter now what it does, I'm not worried about the loom. and I'll start tracing all these wires and remove the plug, and they'll be connected directly into an Ipac. Okay, so there's the Ipac that I'm removing and transferring to the arcade machine until we get a replacement for this one. So there's the wires removed, and the Ipac is now free to go in the arcade machine. There's the Ipac out of the jukebox, and I've got a connection to an earth wire with the multimeter, and with the red probe is what I'll be sensing the wires with, and work out what switches what, basically. This has been a bit of a process to get to this. So far it's probably 3 to 4 hours, and hopefully we'll be running up and running in a couple of hours. Just going to break out the vacuum for the 4th time. Just finished installing the coin buttons for the credits. That way one button doesn't give credits to 2 people. Okay, we've got the soldering iron out, and we're going to solder these. I've done one already, the switch there, that'll be a credit button, and I've recycled this dip switch, and going to solder some wires and then connect them up to the J-Pac, and that should nearly be it. Okay, so back to the arcade machine. There's the Ipac all screwed in, nice and proper. Okay, so Ipac installed, everything's rewired. Much tidier in here. Just got to bring the PC in and the sound system. Excuse me folks, I'm just having a glass of wine after all that. I added an extra button to give the coin 1 and coin 2 for individual players. I'll turn it on and switch the lights off, and you'll get to see what happens next. I'll turn the lights off. Okay, here we go. Got a bit of an intro happening and all that sort of stuff, and this is MAME running. I might later on change down to hyperspin. I've got a hyperspin system here at home already. So here we go. I'll turn the sound up a bit. Just a bit of an intro I got running here, and I've still left the menu function available for myself. I will knock it out so kids can't get into the menu system and they can just play games and that's it. But yeah, so it's basically the arcade machine introducing itself to people, running through some forgotten games. Now, okay, I'll just I'll mute the song so I can monetize the video, because YouTube are a bit like that with it. I'll just turn the light on and run you through what I've done. Okay, so previously as you had to go into the menu, select this button and then select the platform you wanted. Now through these 2 buttons, which are your coin 1 and coin 2, but the second one I've dedicated to, by clicking it, just goes to the next system. So as you can see, this is MAME running. So MAME is, you know, not too bad. It comes up, you know, you can put your movies in and name of the ROMs and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so that's it guys. All the mess has gone from the kitchen table, the dining room table, and the arcade machine's back up and running, so I'm quite happy with it. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe. MAME.